Hey, it's Senator Justin Reedy coming to you at the end of week 5 of the 2025 General Assembly session. This week, the biggest news was Governor Moore gave his third State of the State address. And generally, when a governor gives their State of the State address, they are giving a pretty lengthy speech, talking about their vision for the year ahead, kind of their vision for where the state is and is going. So that's pretty normal, and the governor did some of that. But generally, the speech is also filled with a lot of policy and discussion, in-depth discussion about things that the governor has put forward, any governor has put forward in their budget and other legislative initiatives that they have. I thought it was telling this speech that the governor, number one, it's sort of customary to say that the state of our state is strong or something along those lines, and he didn't really say that. He talked about the challenges and the storms that our state is facing. And he's right about challenges and storms. I think he maybe was wrong about assigning blame to what those storms are for, and I'll talk about that in a minute. The governor also, he talked a lot about the budget, education. He talked a lot of aspirational stuff about rising above challenges and heroic working together. But he didn't mention energy one time. And the energy pricing crisis we are facing, which is a direct result of failed so-called green policies that we've tried to enact over the last decade plus in Maryland, many times rammed through by a supermajority General Assembly. They've implicitly admitted this session, both the governor with a bill he's put in and the Senate President and Speaker with a sort of an omnibus Democratic leadership bill. They've implicitly admitted that they've messed up with not having enough energy production in the state, which has led to these, helped lead, not entirely, but helped lead to these high prices because of all the importation of energy we have to do in the state. Their legislation doesn't really do anything immediate to fix that. We've got some alternative ideas and some plans we're putting forward as Republicans to try to get a little bit more immediate help. But the governor also talked a lot about the fiscal issues the state is facing. But he continues to double down on the sort of the failed class warfare rhetoric of if the well-to-do people will just pay a little more, we can take that money and invest it and get more economic growth. The governor talks a lot about economic growth and how important it is we can grow our way out of some of these deficits. Well, he's not really wrong. Maryland's private sector economy is stagnant, but it's stagnant because of the high tax and high regulatory policies in our state that have been acted under this administration, but also have gone back many years with a supermajority General Assembly Democratic Party that views businesses, property owners as enemies, as opposed to viewing them as economic engines. So the governor's very own plan, as I've discussed before, raises income taxes on so-called high earners over $500,000. But they claims that money that they get is going to go towards helping to invest in economic growth. But those are the very people that are already involved in owning businesses and investing in economic growth. Governor says he's going to cut taxes for over 2/3 of Maryland taxpayers, but for every little small income tax somebody's going to get, the governor is doubling or increasing or creating new fees, new taxes. And even with the income tax cut, he's eliminating things like itemization that help a number of people who certainly make less than $500,000 to save on their taxes. So all in all, it was a lot of the governor. Excellent speaker. He's an engaging personality in a lot of ways, but he's talking about the same policies that have failed in the past. Letting liberal big government spending somehow is going to create economic growth. But we know that's not how it works. Government only can take from other earners and move the money around, often straining it through a filter that costs money. So what we're trying to do is, myself and Republican leaders here in Annapolis, even working with a few Democrats that are open to discussions, we really need to address the long-term overspending in Maryland state government. And what we've done is we've actually identified a number of things that we could either cut out, delay, or just not start at all. And we're looking forward to rolling that list out more in the coming days as the budget really gets going in the budget committees, the budget process. Because there's actually a lot of things that we can do to cut back on the rate of growth in state government, cut spending. Some of them are easier than others. But the governor talks a lot about having the right priorities and having the right strategy. and he's kind of fallen down on both. And so I thought the speech was disappointing in that didn't address one of the biggest issues we're facing, biggest crises we're facing with energy, and continues to talk about how if people can just pay a little more. All the while, they've admitted, the governor and his administration and Democratic leaders have admitted that some of the state's departments, particularly the health department, are not managing money correctly. So my position, as you know, has been, before anybody ever goes back to the taxpayers for more, when they're already crushed under the cost of living burden, we need to get our state's fiscal house in order to make sure we're managing the money you already send correctly. And so that's going to be, again, a major focus for the rest of session. Next week, I look forward to talking to you a little bit more about some specific legislative initiatives I have in a couple different areas. And I hope to hear from you. Hope you're doing well. It's an honor to serve you in Annapolis. Please reach out with any questions or concerns, and I hope you have a great weekend.